I always ask myself, why is Edward Snowden sitting in Moscow, and he revealed everything in 2014, so he paid a very high price for that, for revealing it, like and people are just not moving and saying, I don't care. So I'm doing nothing illegal. It's not about doing something illegal to have privacy. I always ask these people, okay, if you have nothing to hide, is it okay if I stand before your bedroom window tonight? And then they no, but they have Google Alexa in their phone in the room, and I mean Apple and Google are listening all the time, and all this data is sent to the CIA.
Michael Ballweg, thanks a lot to accept this interview for Nexus.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
I've met you very few days ago, and I knew you without knowing you. I will explain why. Because you're a German citizen, and you've made a huge event in the beginning of the COVID that many French people have known about it, because it has brought us a lot of hope at this moment.
I'm happy to hear that.
Really, I assure you, every French resistance and at this period and alternative media has talked about this, because it was very huge. For those who doesn't remember, that are listening to us right now, it was this event in August 2020 with Kennedy, Robert Jr. Kennedy, that made a huge impact, yeah. 2 million people at this moment at Berlin. But you're not coming from this field, you know, you're a businessman in IT. So can you present yourself? How old are you? What did you do before COVID? And how did you start this whole adventure?
Yeah, so my name is Michael Ballweg. I'm an entrepreneur in the IT area. I was doing that for like 25 years. I wanted to silence myself a bit and to make a sabbatical in 2020. That's why I decided to sell the main product of my company in February 2020.
The best time.
It was basically the best time. I was ready to get my backpack and travel the world, and then COVID arrived, and I had a little time to think about what's happening in the world. And then I decided there's something wrong and we need to do something.
Because you had a lockdown in Germany, like we had in France or in Europe?
We had several lockdowns here, starting from April. I think it was 13th, if I remember correctly. It was like lockdown in Germany. Okay,
so maybe like 1 month after the one in France?
No, I think it was. Then the timing was just wrong, which I just said.
Okay, it was 5 years ago, so.
So it was, I think, maybe all countries simultaneously. At least the European countries.
We'll put the correct date. The lockdown. So.
But either way, I was like watching like online media. I watching the mainstream media. I saw the mainstream media as like having only one topic and putting out a lot of fear. On the other hand, we had critical voices, they were silenced, and I thought myself, how should democracy work if gatherings are not allowed? And on the other hand, like the social media stuff is also restricted. So how should democracy work in this pandemic times? And that's where I decided to go to the highest court in Germany and to sue them, to file a suit against the
gathering tradition.
The gathering that they are forbidden. We won.
So you told me, the 17th of April 2020, you won this first procedure, and it has let now the people of Germany able to gather again outside.
Right. Before it was forbidden, and the police was doing like nasty stuff already.
It's huge. It's huge victory because it was exception in Europe at this time.
Probably I did. I didn't have time to follow the other countries because the day I started with the demonstrations, it was like a full-time job for not only one but several people. So then we had the first gathering in Stuttgart. It was around about 180 people. Then the week after we had 500 people.
Yeah, so we are now in 25 of April.
Yeah.
Second manifestation, 500 people, you told me.
Yeah.
And then 1 week after, it goes to 7,500 7,500 people. Yes. So it's people are you feel that people now are mobilizing themselves. So
basically, we had, I think, a lot of people were concerned, especially people from Eastern Germany who had like some kind of not only some kind, they had the dictatorship already, so they were more sensitive. And from the beginning we did like a lot of social media. I always had a video team on the demonstrations who made professional videos. We put it all on YouTube. At that time we didn't have been deplatformed yet. And so that was basically the success factors for the mobilization. Of course we had some alternative media already, like KenFM, which is quite popular in Germany.
Okay.
They were supporting us.
But no politics support us, at this moment?
No, politics was against us, totally. Even the opposition, and of course the media was against us. But normally you would expect, so I need to admit, I was like just living in the hamster wheel until 2020. You didn't know I was an entrepreneur, so I thought, okay, I do demonstrations. Basic human rights are important, even if there is a pandemic. And normally you would expect that the opposition would like support you, and you would also say some media is supporting you and saying like the state.
So now you discovered at this moment the real state of your country, of how it functioned at this moment. So it was a big contrast.
But not only I discovered this. There were a lot of people who have never been on demonstrations at this point, and they were so surprised when they left the demonstrations and they listened in the radio what happened. So we were very peaceful gatherings. So you heard that this are not peaceful gatherings. You heard that this is right-wing and Reichsbürger and Pegida and all that stuff. So everything was like framing it to the right. And there was no journalist writing like something like basic rights, basic human rights are important. The state should not restrict them. Human rights are like non-negotiable. Things like that. So and so it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
We were talking about this third event, but in the fourth event, 10th of May 2020, you were able to gather 25,000 people?
Yeah, I think it was 9th of May, 9th of May.
So still in Stuttgart?
Still in Stuttgart, yes.
And you told me in Stuttgart the police was very aggressive.
Well, the police was okay because I had this like title from the court, so they were quite friendly. What I forgot to say earlier, but I saw videos from other cities, especially Berlin, where we had a lot of police violence. And then the state of Baden-Württemberg made a trick. They said only 5,000 people are allowed together. So we had this huge space on Cannstatter Wasen where we normally have festivals. It has like 65,000 square meters, so it's really, really big, and a lot of people can attend there, even if you, like, say there is a pandemic and you have to make this 1.5 meter rule. Either way, they said only 5,000 are allowed. We lost at the court at that point. So you had this absurd situation that on this huge assembly place there were only 5,000 people. Police didn't let the other people come in, and the other people were assembling outside, and as it was a illegal demonstration, police was really like brutal and harsh at this point already.
So at this moment, you're thinking about going elsewhere in Germany where it's more soft with the citizens, with gathering.
Yeah. So basically, my like principle is I'm not against something, but I'm for something, and I take my energy where it is easy to do things. So we could have continued in Stuttgart, but the result would be that the police is going like very aggressively on the people, and the result would be the demonstrations would get smaller and smaller and smaller, because more and more people would say it's too dangerous to go to these demonstrations. And as Germany is a federal state, luckily there was one state where unlimited assembly was still allowed, and this was Berlin. So we decided to go to Berlin. Yeah.
And that's the beginning of the big story, because we will explain after to people how you paid the big cost of all of this, because you have made 9 months of prison. We will explain how and why. So you managed in few months to organize this first event in Berlin that was held on the 1st of August 2020. And you told me you were like 1 million person?
I guess 800,000 maybe, yeah. It was, so the assembly space was from the Siegessäule, so the victory column, to the Berlin Brandenburger Tor, Brandenburg Gate.
Yeah, the famous gate. Yeah.
It's about like 2 kilometers, and you have all this Tiergarten park around. It was 30 degrees. It was very, very crowded. So we got a number from the police which was 800,000, but other people said, police said 1.3 million. So I don't know.
This is huge.
And the press was writing afterwards 17,000.
In France, at the same moment, we managed to make a demonstration in Paris, and we were like 200,000. So
still good.
It's good, but in comparison, it's really huge what you have been doing at this moment. And you told me that 30 minutes after the start of the gathering, the police has dissolved the assembly.
Yeah. Because
of the mask. Because people didn't wear masks.
When it was 30 degrees, yeah. So this was
we will put the.
So we had a huge stage. We had like on this 2 kilometers, we had a lot of audio equipment so that everybody could hear. That we avoid that people gather too.
True.
We had all the measures in place so that people don't need to gather too tight. I mean, that was a problem at this point when you were organizing demonstrations. And yeah, so funny thing was, even 30 minutes before I opened the demonstration, I already read on the mainstream media, demonstration dissolved. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I started to open the demonstration. And later the news, what we read before I opened the demonstration, the assembly was like created by the police. They took the stage, and they didn't allow us to continue, but people were very brilliant in their reaction. A lot of people had like boxes and stuff with them, so they just continued the demonstration on their own.
And you didn't stay on this. You wanted to make more and more bigger demonstration, and you succeed. A few days after, the 29th of August, and that is the event that has made big noise in France in the alternative media, because you were like maybe 2 million people in the same place in Berlin, and Robert Kennedy Jr. was here to make a speech, and this is why many French people have heard of it. Can you explain how did you organize this after the first event in Berlin, and why did you ask Kennedy to come?
Yeah, there was a... So I'm a person with a lot of humor. So after the demonstration on 1st of August, like the Berlin mayor of Berlin, Mr. Müller, he said, this aggressive people from Stuttgart and Frankfurt should stay at home. You are not allowed to demonstrate in Berlin. And so I made a video and said something like, thank you very much, Mr. Müller, for the very kind invitation. We come again and we bring whole Europe with us. At this point we had already some connections to other countries. And I called the demonstration like Berlin Invites Europe. And the assembly space was double the space from the 1st of August. It was around about 5 kilometers, so going from the Brandenburger Tor to the river on the other side, including the Victory Column space, which is like a 4-lane street that you just can imagine how big it is. And yeah, Mr. Kennedy wanted to attend a demonstration in October in Munich, but Bavaria was so strict with the lockdown and so aggressive against people that we came in contact with Children's Health Defense.
Yeah, sure.
And we proposed them, listen, it might be very difficult to do that in Bavaria in October, because then they're like planning other lockdowns again and police is very aggressive. So would you consider to join us in August? And we got a yes, and so it was an interesting story, because he flew in via Amsterdam and then he had to sneak into Germany.
Because he was afraid of what, being blocked?
No, you remember the rules from there? There was a quarantine rule,
yeah.
So you are not allowed to fly in and to go to a demonstration. Normally you would, like, I think it was 14 days. Basically I don't remember that stuff because I never paid attention to. And of course I never quarantined myself.
But we have to precise, because this event was huge, was a success, and we will put the images of the event that everybody have seen, Kennedy on the stage, all the people. It has remembered many people, his uncle, many decades before, telling a speech in Berlin for other reasons, but also for freedom. So his nephew was here also for freedom. It was like symbolic, it was huge. To organize this, we can tell you have put a lot of money, of your own money, to make it possible. How much had it cost to organize this event? So
the two demonstrations in Berlin were around about €500,000, because we had to have a lot of audio equipment, we had like video equipment, of course. We had a good stage, we had like some equipment in the background, like satellite connection. On 1st of August we had the problem that all the mobile traffic was jammed, so nobody could stream from that. One guy from Switzerland made it. His phone somehow worked. So we had a very good organization, a very good team to like prepare all this demonstration. It was like a full-time job. We had around about 40 people organizing day and night. Just that you can get an impression. So it's not only money, because a lot of people, voluntarily working people who were making this possible.
And you told me that all the events that you have organized, that you have made possible from the beginning, it has cost like maybe $1.5 million. you have managed to gather in crowdfundings maybe
1.2.
1.2. So it has cost a lot and doesn't end at this moment because the authorities didn't want to let you free.
Yeah, I wouldn't jump to that point at that moment because the story continued. So in 2020 we still were able to successfully make a very big demonstration in Leipzig, which has a historical context in the 1990 events, and I think it was like 16th of December where we wanted to make a rally in Bremen, which is in the north of Germany, and there we got like, you're not allowed to gather anymore, which was held by the courts, and the issue was you are Querdenkers and you will not follow any rules anyway. So that was and that's that's like predictive policing. So you say, okay, you will probably somebody kill someone, that's why I arrest you before you do it. And the same they did with this basic right of gatherings, or the right to gather, and they just said, okay, we assume that you won't like follow any rules and you are not peaceful, which is not true, and then it was not possible anymore to make this big demonstrations. We tried to make one in 2021 in August, or two in 2021 in August. Both of them were forbidden, but people decided we don't care about this. So there were a lot of people in Berlin, but it was also very violent from the police side. So violent that the guy from the UN, Mr. Melzer, said there is a lot of police violence going on in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because they have attacked the people, or?
Yeah, a lot of people.
To dissolve the assembly.
Yeah, and I can send you some footage, so you will be shocked what you see on that pictures.
But you didn't stop. You continued.
Well, the question is, how can you stop at this in these times when you live in a state of emergency and all your human rights are gone? The press is writing you are some kind of right-wing extremist, and the the opposition does not work. What should you do in that case? Will you back off, or will you go forward? And for me it was all, there's no, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying things, I'm failing, I'm changing, I'm trying new things. That's what I do. And my mom always said, you are a rebel. So I'm a rebel from the childhood. You cannot change your nature. And for me it was always like, we are so many people in Germany, and it's a lovely community, and you meet so many people which like giving you energy and strengthen you and like holding you back. So for me it was never an option to say we give up now, especially what happened like in 1st of August, that they just take your stage, 29th of August with all the police and brutality what we saw, and either way there was no sense for lockdowns and mass vaccination, and government was going forward and forward and forward and trying to push people against their will to get vaccinated. We had in Germany, we had the mandatory vaccination for the healthcare workers. So, and the good thing is, after the demonstration was forbidden, people decided, okay, we now do this Monday walkings So each Monday evening, people gathered in multiple cities, and at the end it was just too many people, and the police couldn't handle it anymore, and then the politics had to react, and they skipped the mandates.
And so you had the same restriction as us in France with this vaccine obligation. You cannot go to the restaurant. Or?
Yeah, everything. We had 2G, 1G.
What is 2G, 1G?
They call it in Germany. 2G was, I think, you need either to be tested or vaccinated. And 1G was you need to be vaccinated.
Okay, no testing allowed.
Yeah,
okay, and the same for the train or planes was.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. And how German people handled this? Did you see a lot of I don't know how to say to obey? Did the Germans obey a lot with this? Did you see?
I would say yes. So Querdenker. So Querdenker means thinking outside the box. People with a different opinion. It's about 20 to 30%. So it's quite a lot. But of course, when you know the Ash experiment, for instance, 70% trying always to convince the other 30%. But you cannot suppress 30% permanently. It's just too expensive for the state. So yes, I would say Germans, unfortunately, are very obeying in this time, and we unfortunately see it now with the war preparation. Propaganda just works, and a lot of people are falling into propaganda.
Yeah, you told me before the start of the interview that when you fight for peace, actually with the war in Ukraine, and how did they call you in the media?
In Germany, the word is Putin-Versteher, means you are a Putin understander, or you are in favor of Putin. But I mean, this is not what it is. Basically, we are a peace movement. I just believe all people should live in peace and in freedom, and not be suppressed by governments.
It's fascinating to see how the same methods are applied in Germany when we spoke about this, and in France, what we live in when we talk about peace in Ukraine, the same language, as if they were told the same methods to apply.
Well, basically, there's there's the CIA handbook, how to suppress people and how to suppress resistance, and basically what happened to me is exactly written in that book. So it's, I guess, well-known knowledge all over the world by governments how to suppress these protests. But it's too big now. I'm really convinced it's too many people who are rising up at the same time. You never had 30%, 20 to 30% in other epochs, I would say. It was maybe 5 to 10%, and they were successful with its methods, but I think it doesn't work anymore.
And you're confident in your country now of freedom of speech, or when you tell this, it's because you see more and more people defending freedom?
Basically, it's horrible in Germany at the moment because we got this election, we got this in-between parliament who was making 1 billion. So we have this government who makes 1 billion of debt, and they want to invest it into weapons. So that's not a good investment, in my opinion. We have a lot of legal changes in freedom of speech. We have, on European level, the Digital Service Act.
True.
So it affects all European countries. I think we get some light from the US, hopefully. So that's the good news. But I think we are at a very dark age. So we are on a conference now. I think I can tell that. There was Ulrike Gero giving a speech on the situation in Germany, and I think she summarized it very well. Unfortunately, the Germans are doing it until the end, which is somehow very sad if you like put a look in the history. But other countries are not so much better at the moment. I think it's the same in France and Spain and Italy and
it's kind of the same in all European Union. We've seen like in Romania, actually, one of the candidates has been arrested and forbidden to
get elected.
Because it was the one who was going apparently to be elected. He got it 40% in the first round, and because of weird stuff on TikTok, they have managed to impeach him to present himself. So we see dark, as you say, dark moment in Europe on citizen, on freedom. It's hard to see the future, and when we see citizens like you, the cost you have paid. I said it just before in the interview, because I didn't know, even after this event, what you have been to pay a really high cost, because in 2022 the authorities have arrested you because of all your activism. And tell me how it happened that you have passed 9 months in prison, but in prison, not at home, in a real prison. How is it possible?
Well, basically there was a search warrant for my house on 29th of June 2022, and the accusation was money laundering and fraud. So fraud was that I didn't use the money which people give me for Querdenken for the demonstrations. After they were finished searching my house, they just said, okay, you are arrested now. And I went to a high facility prison which is called Stuttgart-Stammheim. This is known as the prison for the RAF, the German terror group.
So it's an old prison?
It's renovated, yeah.
Okay, but
it has some history.
Yeah.
It's not so it's a high facility prison. I was 3 months in isolation and then 6 months.
This is crazy.
Because I was not vaccinated, and so but first I had to
break you. 3 months isolation.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, I'm meditating a lot, and I believe in the universe. So that's a very strong belief. So I took it as a time of inner work, where you can work on yourself. I would now if I would tell you, you can have 23 hours with yourself, and learn about everything what is bugging you, and you learn to control your mind.
So you managed to do this all this time.
That's basically that's what you need to learn, because your mind can make you crazy, or you can. So the question is, who's the master? Are you the master, or is something in your body, in your brain, the master? And what you need to come over is the question: when will it end? Because you don't know.
Yeah, this time you don't know if it's going to end.
Will it be 9 months? Will it be 2 years? Because so officially it's only allowed to be 6 months in pre-trial detention. But there are a lot of people 1.5 years, 2 years in prison without anything prepared by the prosecutor's office. So I had a good friend who was a lawyer as well, and he was going with me through this time. So I had strong support. There were a lot of demonstrations outside of the prison. I would say every 3 weeks or 4 weeks was more than 1,000 people, sometimes 1,500
Did it
people.
Help you, this?
Yeah, it is moral support. Of course, if you hear the people outside, I could even see a little part of the demonstration. We had all these guys with the instruments, like playing music. It was a big happening also for all the other prisoners, to be honest. I gave them like, because you are unguilty in this prison, right? You're not, like, there was no court like saying you are sentenced to 5 years, 2 years, whatever. You're just in, I think the English word is pre-trial detention. And all these people are not guilty because they're waiting for their process, for their trial. And so this was very supportive for all the people, not only for me. I got around about 4,000 letters in this time. So basically I spent, I would say, rather 1 hour doing yoga, then 3 hours of meditation, then another 3 hours of reading, another 2 or 3 hours of answering letters. And that was my daily routine. And the challenge is to get your mind clear and to accept it as it is, because you cannot change it. You are just in a situation which you have to accept, and it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot change it.
It's huge to imagine a simple citizen to have to face this kind of privacy of liberty.
Yeah, it's not only that, all my money was taken, or is taken until now.
Oh, they have blocked. They have blocked your money. How much did they block?
1.3 million.
Okay, so they make everything possible to break you.
Yeah, so basically that's a really undemocratic thing, because you cannot like lock up someone, take all his money, and then you give him like a lawyer with no experience. You know, in Germany we have the word which is Pflichtverteidiger, so you get like a lawyer, but
you can choose your lawyer.
You can, but you need to have money, right? So you seldom have lawyers who work just like free for you. Fortunately, I have this friend which I said earlier, who was doing a lot of stuff like in his spare time and going through all of that. But that's how it works in the best democracy of the world, in Germany. So they take all your money and then they say, okay, we lock you up in prison, and you lose any right or any possibility to do countermeasures because you just don't have money. And the attorney which you get, he does like get very little money. And of course, in a business case or in an economic case, which is mine, it's very complex.
Yeah.
It includes like fraud, then it was money laundering. Later they added tax evasion, because I didn't make my tax documents from the prison while I was in prison. So I'm accused of tax evasion. And the current state is that money laundering was dropped. The court didn't want to open that case, but the prosecutor's office went to a higher court, and the higher court said it needs to be negotiated. And yeah, my money is still either at the court or at the tax authorities. And I have a trial of a total of 70 days, so 70, which started in October 2024 and will probably go until October or November this year. So I need four lawyers, because it is different topics what they accused. So one is attempted fraud. So that means because nobody who gave me money was complaining that I was like misusing that money. They said, okay, it was not a successful fraud, but
You attempted.
Before I started with Querdenken, I thought, oh, maybe I can make a big fraud out of it.
It's a minority report, right? It's like before you do something, you don't do it, but they think you have thought of doing it.
It's a thought crime, yes.
Thought crime.
And I need lawyers for that part, and then of course I have the tax evasion part. So you need other lawyers for that. So it's quite expensive. Yeah. And I think basically that's the plan, to keep me busy, to make me, how would you say, to put me in a position where I'm not able to act. But either way, there was a big demonstration last year in Berlin, 3rd of August, which was organized by me. There was around about 50,000 people in Berlin, and we will make another demonstration this year, 2nd of August.
Yeah, we'll talk about this at the end, because we'll try to be there to this demonstration. But I was wondering, when you're this time in prison and you don't know when you're going to be out, did you regret what you did? Do you regret at this moment all the demonstrations, all the work you made?
I never had the feeling that I need to regret something. It was just so, how would you say, when I went to prison, I thought, okay, this must be error. I will be out in 1 week, because it's so ridiculous what they were writing. I mean, I was reading it, and it was just so, it was a story. And I was wondering why the judges are going through. I still was believing, okay, we have 3 parts of the state. One is the justice, and justice will work in the right way. I needed to learn that we don't live not only we live in a democratic simulation, but also in a simulation of the justice system. And so I got aware of that, and I got a very, very tough hearings in that time. So my lawyer tried everything. So in one hearing I was like cuffed at a table for 6 hours. Couldn't like take a look at my documents. Afterwards, the highest judge, the Oberlandesgericht, was referring to a guy who made it's called satire, what is the English word, I don't know, like fun, or what do you say? Satiric, yeah, satiric. And he said, I'm the Corona entrepreneur of 2020 because I earned so much money with the demonstrations. And the court was referring to this satiric documentation. And then I thought that this is somehow a clown's world, but it's just crazy times what we're living in.
This is crazy, and you have lost more than you won.
Yeah, well, I have a different opinion on life, you know, so I wouldn't say I lost it, because money is not... So I lived in a very materialistic lifestyle, and the question is what brings you joy and what makes you happy, and not how much money do you have on your bank account. I think it's, for me as an entrepreneur, of course, it's important to be enabled to act and to start projects and do things. But you know, when you're an entrepreneur, there's this, I think there's a movie, and there's one guy sitting in a restaurant in New York, and he's very happy. And another guy is approaching him and said, why are you so happy? You just lost like 1 billion or everything what you have. And he said, I don't care, I'm an entrepreneur. I know how to do things, and if I want, I can do it again. It's just hard work. And that's a little bit my view on the things. I mean, I'm working in the IT business, so that's not a field which is like getting smaller. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So if I would want to work in the IT business again, I could do that. But I just decided I want to dedicate my life to something more valuable, and this is like changing the world in a positive way and being a counterpart to what happens at the moment.
So for you, how can you determine what brings you joy in life?
So as I meditate a lot of time, basically I'm really like to be in nature and being just by myself. Philosophy is something which is sort of thinking about the sense of life, and I would say following what your gut says and where you like have a strong intention what you're doing. Basically, while I was doing these demonstrations and all that stuff, I was also developing a project which is called digitaler Aktivist, so digital activism, because we were deplatformed from YouTube, so we started our own ecosystem, PeerTube servers. PeerTube is a French open source product, so you can do video portals with that. So I encourage people to build their own video portals. We developed a de-googled phone, so that you don't.
Really?
We didn't develop it. Basically, everything is there. You just need to put it together and make it more user-friendly. Like
a fair phone, or this kind of project.
Yeah. The problem is not the hardware. The problem is the software. So for me, it's an energetic approach. A lot of people say privacy. I don't care because I'm doing nothing illegal. But it's very important to understand that if you have basic human rights, and privacy is one of that, you have to defend it. And if you give your data always to Google and to Apple, freely without resisting, this is something different as when you protect your data and say, okay, come and get it, but it will cost you a lot of energy and at the end money. And I always ask myself, why is Edward Snowden sitting in Moscow and he revealed everything in 2014? So he paid a very high price for that, for revealing it, and people are just not moving and saying, I don't care. So I'm doing nothing illegal. It's not about doing something illegal to have privacy. I always ask these people, okay, if you have nothing to hide, is it okay if I stand before your bedroom window tonight? And then they no, but they have Google Alexa in their phone in the room, and I mean Apple and Google are listening all the time, and all this data is sent to the CIA. So I started this project as well. A lot of people wrote me to prison, this was the reason why you were arrested, because now you're touching the...
so you started this project before?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
Funny thing was, I made a very long video with Abonne-toi, which is a German alternative media platform, 1 week before the prison. And while I was in prison, it was released. So it was really funny.
And is this project available now?
Yeah.
How is it named?
Digitaler Aktivist.
Okay, but the phone with this OS,
we just use standard components. So we use Graphene OS.
Okay.
This Graphene OS is available.
Yeah, it's open source.
Yeah, and Lineage OS. So these two things, and we just teach people how to use it, because you don't have Google Maps anymore.
Yeah.
So what's the product name of the open source?
So we have to learn how to do without the GAFAM Google.
Yeah. You don't use WhatsApp anymore. So what do you use? Signal, Telegram, Element, whatever. We teach people alternatives.
So we can go. We put the. Is it available in English? We can.
No, most of it is in German, but with the automatic translation, subtitle translation.
I put the link below the video, because I think it will interest many French activists or journalists. Or
it's very important. I mean, there's
We are so dependent on
there
this.
is a lot of, like, you know, the Pegasus spyware on journalists. So we need to defend our privacy, and if they want to have our data, they should spend a lot of money for it.
Yeah,
and we don't give it like to them
for free.
Yeah.
We were talking about this a few days before. It was like, if they want, they can have data, but it must cost a high price for them to take it, because now it's free for them.
Absolutely.
If we use Apple or Google.
They get everything. Yeah. So that's one project which I'm doing, and the other one is I'm teaching people how to use Bitcoin, because I'm debanked and deplatformed. So the good news is we have solutions for everything. It's out there. You just need to change and to use them. And so for like being deplatformed from Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that, we just built our own video servers. And for not having a bank account, but you need to finance somehow an organization who's like doing things. Bitcoin is available, we can use it. So I encourage people to use it, even if they're not convinced that it is like a money replacement, at least for funding organizations. And we see a lot of journalists in Germany which are getting debanked now. We see magazines getting debanked. We are seeing Auf 1, which is a very big alternative media from Austria that just got debanked. And I mean, what would I do if I would be on the other side? I would cut the funding, then it's very likely that the organization is collapsing because you cannot pay your people anymore.
Sure.
And to be honest, we all have to live from something. So you can do a while maybe with freelance, with voluntary work, but at the end it will collapse. And that's why we need to move to alternatives, and especially CDBC is coming, central bank digital currency, and the question is, what are we doing when it's there? Are we waiting and say, okay, if it's there, we don't know what we do? So we need to prepare. At least we have time to prepare now, you know. For COVID, no one was able to prepare. I mean, if you would have told me, I wouldn't believe it.
But now we know that they are preparing this digital euros.
Yeah, they say it just openly. I mean, the funny thing is, I'm getting fact-checked by the fact-checkers.
Oh, you are the same in Germany, fact-checkers?
Yeah, and so I posted this video from Christine Lagarde, where she is saying like the digital euro is starting from October 25. And then I was fact-checked and I said, no, that's not true. It's not starting in 2025 because there's still some legislation to go through. But they said, okay, they will introduce it for sure in 2027. So it's
they're playing with words.
The funny thing is, while they were fact-checking me, they were releasing additional.
And they confirmed what you say.
So CDBC is coming, so we should prepare, and we should be ready to have alternatives. And whatever people prefer, gold, silver, Bitcoin, there are a lot of alternatives. Everything has its like advantages and disadvantages. For me, I can only say everything was taken. So I had a safe, I had, of course, gold and silver as well. It was seized, my companies were seized, even my company in Switzerland.
Switzerland?
Switzerland, yeah. So
the country that we think very free for business, for money?
That's an illusion. Switzerland is no better than the rest of Europe.
They have agreed to cooperate against you?
With the German authorities, yes. So my house has been seized and sold. My stock portfolio, of course. The only thing what cannot be seized is Bitcoin if you use it in the right way. So I would say I made the real life check and so I can only encourage people to think about using Bitcoin and like getting knowledge about it.
And to know if we are obliged to use it, to know at least how to use it.
Yeah. Because there are only two things. Either you change actively or you're getting changed. You know, if the CDBC is there and then you say, I don't want to do that, you should have at least been prepared to have some place where you can get food in a traditional way. You need to think how to pay your like electricity bill, your mobile phone bill, all that stuff. It will be quite easy to push all the people in this direction.
So we still have 2 years now.
Yeah, and it's quick because you know it's 5 years now since COVID started, and it was really like 2 years. Sounds like a long period, but it's not long at all. I just wanted to add. So I'm the founder of Querdenken Stuttgart. So we were a lot of local groups. In the like September 2020, we had 40 groups. 40 cities which were all working together as Querdenken teams and like were organizing demonstrations for basic human rights and freedom and peace. And we do somehow the same with this digital project. So I'm teaching other people how to do this, and we have groups now already in Munich and in Berlin. So even if they keep me busy with the trial and I cannot do it myself, things are happening.
With other people?
Yeah.
So they cannot arrest everybody?
No.
You think in France we can have maybe one time a group?
Sure, you can. So
we send the message if someone wants to.
Basically, it's all open source and you can just use it. And we made. So we do not develop software, but as I'm an experienced software entrepreneur, so I know how difficult the like software development process is. So you need a good UI, you need stable code, and at the end you need good manuals. And for most open source projects, I mean, you just have a developer. When you are lucky, he has a good friend or a designer who's working with him. But documentation is something which many people don't like to create. Of course, a little bit of boring job.
That's what you do.
So basically we decided we will fill that gap and tell people how to use it. Because I mean, I need to admit, Google and Apple, they're doing great products, but of course they have huge teams, product development teams, product management, after sales teams, they have it all. Yeah. So we decided that we will like contribute that part to the open source community, that we just take the how do I use it properly, or how can I use it in my life, in my real life, with all my daily problems. How can we do that? So and you can have you have free video courses on the website. You can buy a preloaded phone at the Kopfverlag, which is a German alternative company, or you can go to a workshop and like do it in one day. We have like oldest participant was 78 years.
So it's accessible for everyone.
It's accessible, and it's like from the start. It's from the beginning. Yeah. It's not like that you need to bring something. The only thing what you should leave at home is like the belief that you are too dumb for IT, because many people have this barrier in their minds. I cannot do IT. It's not about.
It's for geek. Or
it's not about learning IT. It's just about using a phone.
True. I invite everybody that is interested in this to inform, to check the your website, the link. I put all the links below this video. And before ending this interview, I make the promotion for the next demonstration you told me in August of 2025. Which day?
Yeah, so it's 2nd of August.
2nd of August.
So it's in reminiscence, in remembering the 1st of August, where we had the first demonstration. So this year it will not be organized by me because I'm still busy with my trial. I have to go 2 days per week to the trial in Stuttgart. And so the local Querdenken group, which is Querdenken Berlin, Querdenken 30.
So the same place?
Yeah, I think it will be in front of the Brandenburger Tor. And we have some international guests already. I won't announce them because I will wait a little bit until I have the final. So we talked, and we'll see.
You'll tell me when we are able to communicate.
Yeah.
We will see. You will publish in Nexus, and we will, if someone wants to go to Berlin or some French people living in Germany to go, maybe we will try to come.
Yeah, it would be very important to come because basically I made a demonstration in 2020, which was Berlin Invites Europe. And what I learned now, a lot of people didn't know, so they didn't use this opportunity. And I think we should send a bold sign that Europe is now connecting. Because I can tell you, like, we had an international conference now in the last 3 days. I don't say from what and from where, just to keep privacy. But it was a lot of people from the United States, and what I recognize is they have really an advantage. They all speak the same language. So there is no barrier, and people from Texas know what's happening in Alaska and on the West Coast.
That's a problem for us in Europe.
Even on Hawaii and Puerto Rico, they will know what's happening. In Europe, we have the challenge of like reaching all the people because we see the same development. Of course, it's an EU development, so we see it in all countries. And that's why we need to unite Europe-wide. And not only like the German area, Austria, Switzerland. And that's why I'm very happy that we had this conference, and we need to address this language issue. So about my process, about my trial, I'm like publishing already in 3 languages. I will add French from the future. And with the technology, with the AI, it's not a big deal anymore to do that. So I can only encourage people who are like working in this field of freedom movement and peace movement to use the AI. Of course, you publish this information anyway, so it's not a privacy issue in that case. And it is important that we address the language issue, so that we have all people in Europe informed what's happening, and that they are not alone, and that each country has, I would say, about 20 to 30%. And if we unite that power, we will be very successful, I guess.
Michael, thanks a lot for the time and all the information you gave us, and I hope we will be able to publish new information when you have some news to give us, and hope to see you in Berlin in 2nd of August this year.
2nd of August, yes. So I hope I will meet a lot of French people. My French is not so good, so merci beaucoup, and thanks for watching.
Merci Michael, à bientôt.